Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. I thought we'd have a little autumn book chat today. As we're nearing autumn, which autumn and winter are literally my favourite seasons, so I cannot wait. I also cannot wait for the autumn winter reading. I'm so excited. So I thought today would be the perfect time as we're nearing the run up for autumn to give you guys some autumn book recommendations and also talk you through some of the books that are going to be on my autumn TBR that I'm really hoping to read this autumn, just so that you guys know what's on my radar at the minute, and also hopefully I can give you some book recommendations that you can add to your autumn TBR. Just a little autumn book chat, which I'm really excited for. I thought first we'd go through the autumn book recommendations. I've kind of sorted these out in genres. We have a lot of thrillers because I think autumn is literally the perfect time to read thrillers, and I have some romance that feel more autumny and also a romantic recommendation, but I do feel like romantic in general is a genre that thrives in autumn time. I don't know why, but I just do. So starting off with YA thrillers, there are two that kind of really stuck out to me as having more of an autumn feel. The first one is Five Survived by Holly Jackson. This one is definitely more of a thriller that kind of has you on the edge of your seat, like makes you feel almost like you're being watched when you're reading it. This one follows a group of friends who end up kind of stranded in this RV, and they realise that somebody within the RV is being targeted from outside with a laser, and they have to work out amongst themselves who it is that's being targeted. And it all takes place over one night. It's all split up into the different hours, which I think is really fun. Like I said, it's just a very kind of creepy feeling kind of thriller. It is a YA, so it's really easy to read and it's not too scary, and there's just something about this one and the fact that they're kind of stranded in the woods in this RV that just feels very kind of cold and autumn winter kind of vibes. Also along with that is the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, also by Holly Jackson. This one I think gives major autumn vibes. I think specifically because in the first one we follow Pip through a school year. I don't actually know what season this is set in but it gives the vibe of like autumn. I don't know why. This one we basically follow Pip, who's working on a school project, and as part of the school project she decides to solve this cold case that happened in her little small town, and this final year school project just ends up being way bigger than she kind of ever anticipated it to be. It's YA again, so very fast paced, very easy to read, and this one is a really fun one to read because you just have so many different kind of formats of the book. Like we have text messages, we have photos, we have transcripts, we have production logs. Like it's just a very fun, interesting read and you'll literally fly through it. The whole series is set out like that as well, which is really fun, and there's just something about this series that just feels very autumny to me, and they're all such quick, easy, gripping YA thrillers, and I think they're a lot of fun as well. And I also like that we follow Pip throughout this whole series, but she's working on a different sort of case, but we're obviously following Pip, and I just love Pip as a character, I really do. Moving on to some adult thrillers, I'm going to recommend Hidden Pictures by Jason Reculak. This one I read this year and this was a 4.5 star read to me. This is one of my favourite thrillers that I've probably ever read. I just really liked the kind of creepy, ominous feeling that this book had, and I think it's a great adult thriller. Borderline horror, has a lot of like paranormal horror kind of elements in there. This one we follow Mallory, who basically gets a job as a nanny, and she's looking after this 5-year-old boy, and this 5-year-old boy loves drawing. And Mallory starts to realise that some of his drawings are slightly darker, slightly more sinister, taking a darker sort of turn, and she starts to become really worried and is sort of trying to work out why he's drawing what he's drawing. The really fun thing about this is that we actually get to see the pictures along with Mallory, so we feel very kind of immersed in this story. This one honestly just kept me hooked the whole time. I really liked the paranormal aspect. I really liked the feel of this. This is what I want from my thrillers. I want to be on the edge of my seat. I want to feel like there's something slightly sinister going on, slightly ominous, but we don't really know what, and that's what kind of makes you keep on reading. I just really enjoyed it, and it's one of my go-to thriller recommendations, so I would definitely recommend, especially like closer to Halloween time as well. Not that this is necessarily set at Halloween, but it does have that kind of creepier feeling that I really like. Also another one on a similar kind of paranormal horror kind of aspect, we have Home for Dark by Riley Sager. Another great one. This is a classic kind of haunted house sort of tale. You really get the feeling that something creepy is going on, and that just keeps you hooked the entire time. This one follows Maggie, who goes back to this big manor hall mansion type haunted house, and she lived there for 3 weeks with her parents when she was younger before her parents basically fled in the middle of the night. And there's been a lot of stories about the house and what actually went down and what actually happened there, and Maggie, now she's a bit older, has basically made it her mission to go back and figure out what actually happened that night and kind of what is wrong with this house. Very similar vibe to Haunting of Hill House, if anybody's seen that TV show. Kind of similar vibe to that. Definitely has a more horror aspect to it, but without being too terrifying. and will have you continue reading just because you need to know what's going on, what's happening. Another great one for the run up to Halloween as well, I think. Then we have One by One by Freedom McFadden. This one I'm purely putting in here because this is a classic kind of lost in the woods, friendship group lost in the woods, cabin in the woods type of situation. And out of all the Freedom McFaddens that I've read, I think this is a great one for the kind of transition from summer to autumn, because I actually think that they were going on like this trip away, like a vacation away, but they end up getting stuck in the middle of nowhere in these woods. So it might even be set at summertime, but because they're stuck in the woods, the kind of setting and the vibe of it is very kind of going into autumn, if that makes any sense. This is a really great one if you need something really quick and easy to read. It's not very long, it's literally like 250 pages. Very quick, very easy, very fast paced, as a lot of Freedom McFaddens are. And it's a great one if you need a palate cleanser of a thriller, and also if you're going into a reading slump. I think this would be a really great one to pick up. Yeah, I would say that this was definitely an underrated Freedom McFadden, just with how fast paced and easy to read it is, and you could literally binge read this if you wanted to. The next thriller I have is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. This is a dark academia thriller, and this one, I'm not gonna lie, I actually did find kind of slow to start with, but once I got into the story, I was hooked. I was hooked and I needed to know what was going on. And there is something about the end of this book that has stuck with me, and I genuinely think I gave this like 5 stars when I first read it. I do think that the longer time goes on and the more kind of distance I have from this book, I probably would bring it down slightly, but it would still be very much like a 4-star, potentially 4.5-star read. The ending, I kid you not, I can literally remember reading it and like the feeling that I felt when I read this ending, literally like it was yesterday. Like that's how much of an impact this ending had. This one follows a group of friends at uni, and basically something really bad happens when they're all at uni together, and we follow them 10 years in the future where they're having this 10-year reunion and everybody's kind of coming back together, and one of the girls basically makes it her mission to solve what happened back in their uni days, if that makes sense. I'm trying to keep it as vague as possible. And I do think that this goes back and forth between their uni years and also present day, which I really liked. And I really liked the setting of this one as well, with the dark academia vibes. Definitely makes for a very autumny feel. I think dark academia is literally perfect for autumn. And this is probably one of my favourite dark academia thrillers that I've read so far. And then the last thriller recommendation that I have is another Holly Jackson. But this is her adult debut. This is Not Quite Dead Yet. She actually released this summer, but it is all set around Halloween, so that's why I wanted to recommend it, because it would literally be perfect for Halloween. This one we follow Jet, and she basically has this brain injury that means she only has up to 7 days to live. And she has this brain injury because she got attacked one night, so she basically makes it her mission for the next 7 days to work out who did this to her, essentially solving her own murder, which I think is a really, really interesting concept. And just that in itself makes you want to read it and like keep reading, because you want to know how it's all going to end, how it's going to wrap up. And I really enjoyed this one. I will say that I did actually guess the ending and I kind of predicted it, but from what I've heard in other people's reviews, I think I'm kind of in the minority there, and I think the majority of people really, really didn't see it coming, so I will just put that out there. But this one I think perfect for Halloween time, the run up to Halloween, I think would be absolutely perfect. I think Jet actually gets attacked on Halloween, and the book takes place on Halloween and slightly after that. So literally perfect for an autumn read, and also very fast paced, and I just really like the way that Holly Jackson writes her characters, hence why I like her books so much, and I literally recommended nearly all of them to you in this video. Okay, moving on to romance. The first one I have is If You'd Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. This one, we basically follow Autumn and Finney, and I feel like I can't really say too much about this one without giving too much away. We basically follow these two people who have been best friends, literally like childhood best friends, and at high school they go their separate ways, and it kind of follows them trying to work their way back to each other. That's all I'm gonna say. It is more character driven, I would say, but I absolutely love these characters. I loved the story, even though it is a sad one. I will just preface this by saying, because I know some people like to know if they're getting themselves into a sad book. You probably have heard of this book already. It is a sad one, but there is something about a sad romance that can really get me, that just stays with me, and I literally still think about these characters. I adore them. Also very easy to read, and there is something about this one that I think feels autumny. Not just the fact that her name is Autumn, which I've only just realised, but not just the fact that her name is Autumn, but like the whole setting of it just feels like it's set in autumn, even though I don't even know if that's the case. But that's my first romancy recommendation. Then I have Nightshade by Autumn Woods. Another autumn. So much autumn going on here. This one would be perfect for autumn. This is a dark academia romance. It's one of my favourite all-time books, which I literally can't even believe that I'm saying that, but it honestly is. I continue to think about this book I absolutely love it. And there's just something about this setting, the dark academia setting with this university, that just feels so autumnal, and it's literally the perfect setting to read in autumn. This one we have Ophelia, and Ophelia has actually lost her parents in this accidental death situation. Her parents both are associated or work for the university that this is all set around, and Ophelia basically gets a scholarship to go to this university, but she's kind of got this secret mission to solve what actually happened to her parents and to work out who was responsible. And she meets the son of her prime suspect in this whole thing. It's so good. The banter between these two is so good. The slow burn, I loved. The slow burn for me was perfect. Like, we got the slow burn vibes, but we also got enough of them actually, you know. But the tension was so good. The kind of hate between them was so good. I just loved it. I loved it. And I was actually giggling at this. I was also shocked when reading this because we do have the thriller element in there. The thing that I absolutely love about this is that it's so many different genres combined. Okay, it's dark academia, it's romance, it's also got this thriller mystery element to it. I just love. I love, and I can't wait for book 2 because this is a duet. So this is just book 1 and then we have book 2, which when I tell you, I literally cannot wait for. I cannot wait to be back with these characters. I just love, and I honestly envy anybody that can read this for the first time. Enough said. Next, I have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is literally perfect for the run up to Halloween if you want a kind of Halloween-y, spooky season kind of romance. This is a magical realism romance. I just love a magical realism romance. I just love them. And I think Ashley Poston just does them so well. This one is basically following a ghost writer who has writer's block, and she ends up going back to her hometown and falling in love with a ghost. That's all I'm gonna say. But so fun, such a fun concept. I just really like this and I think it would be perfect for Halloween time. And then another one that would be perfect for Halloween is The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. This was just a lot of fun. This literally feels like kind of similar to Practical Magic vibes, just with like the whole town, the witchy vibes. We basically have Vivian, who went through a really, really bad breakup, and she's a witch, and she basically cursed her ex-boyfriend. And a number of years later, this curse kind of comes true, begins to happen to this guy, and they kind of have to work together before the curse kind of destroys the whole town. So it's kind of like a second chance romance. We have the witchy vibes, we have the magic element, which I really liked. Just a very quick, easy, fun little romance, and definitely perfect for Halloween, and like I said, has Practical Magic vibes, which I absolutely adore that film, so I would definitely recommend that. And then last but not least, we have Heavenly Bodies by Imani Eriu, and this is a romantasy. It's kind of like a celestial romantasy. I just wanted to mention this one just because I think romantasy in general is really, really great in autumn, and I feel like this is one that I haven't actually spoken about that much, so I did just want to throw this one in here because I feel like I talk about all my favourite romances quite often, and this is one that I actually read kind of recently, and I feel like I haven't really spoken about it that much. And I did enjoy this one. It was very, very fast pace. I've got pins and needles so bad. I think it's fine. This one, we follow Elara, and she basically had this prophecy kind of put upon her that she would fall in love with the god of stars, and the prophecy was they would fall in love with each other and it would end up killing them both. And she basically makes it her mission to break this prophecy and to make sure that it doesn't come true. And I really liked the kind of magic system in this one just because it was very easy to understand, and as somebody that I would probably say is still relatively new to romantasies, I do really like things that don't take too much brain power to understand in terms of like the world building, just because I feel like if it's too confusing, and I think it definitely depends on the way that it's written, but I think if it's too confusing or not explained very well, I just kind of lose interest in the book. But I think this is one where the magic system just came quite naturally to me, and I think was explained in a way that wasn't just info dumping, which I really appreciated. And I did really like these two main characters as well. I will say that I wasn't absolutely obsessed with them in the way that I probably would like to be, but I did really enjoy them. I enjoyed their story. I enjoyed the kind of lore behind them that we get as well. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this, and I do think that this has an autumn kind of feel to it as well. Okay, they're all my autumn book recommendations. On to my autumn TBR. So these are the books that I am really, really hoping to read this autumn. I have some that are already on my physical TBR, and then I have a couple that are ones that I am hoping to buy at some point that I don't actually own a copy of yet. So starting off with the ones that are actually on my physical TBR already. First up we have Revolve by Belle Cabra. This is I think it's the third one in the Off Ice series. I read Collide. I haven't actually read the second one, but I do believe that you can just pick them up and read them individually because it's an interconnected standalone series. The reason that this one gives me autumn vibes is because I believe that it's set in the school year. It does actually come out in October this year, and it's set in the school year, which would be like September, October time. And also because it follows a figure skater, and I think he's an ice hockey player. It kind of gives winter sport vibes, you know? So like autumn, winter time. So I'm hoping to read this one, and I feel like it's been so long since I've read a sports romance. I honestly think it's been so long, so I'm hoping that one's gonna be fun. Then we have Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. I am so beyond excited for this. I think I will save this one for October time. I'm hoping it's gonna have a kind of a similar vibe to like Practical Magic, cozy, magical witchy vibes. That's what I'm hoping for from this. This one we follow Belladonna, who is a witch, and on her 30th birthday I think she basically has to go into like these witchy trials to prove her worthiness as a witch. I'm just so here for this already, and I literally cannot wait for October time when I will definitely be reading this. And I believe that the second one has just come out or is about to come out as well, so that's very exciting. Maybe I'll pick up that one as well, who knows. Then we have Make Me a Monster. This is actually an ARC edition, which is why it has this quote on the front. This one I believe is inspired by Frankenstein, so I think it would be perfect for near Halloween time. And I read Frankenstein last year, I think, and I actually really enjoyed it and really enjoyed the whole story and the vibe of it. And the fact that this is inspired by it, I'm here for it, definitely, for definite. And this one, it says on the back, the dead don't always stay dead. Stop, stop. I'm very intrigued by this one. Very intrigued. Next I have The Blighted Stars. I've actually never heard anything about this book, but it sounds really interesting and I'm definitely very intrigued. I think this would be kind of perfect for autumn. I have been saving this one for autumn. It has been on my TBR for a while, but I think because it's sci-fi, I don't know why sci-fi and like fantasy give me autumn vibes. This one follows two people who are stranded on a dead planet. It says forced to ally with her mortal enemy. Survival is the only option. Did somebody say stranded with the mortal enemy? I just think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a good sci-fi with hopefully a strong kind of romance in there as well. And I am very intrigued to read more sci-fi as well. That has been something that I have been wanting to do this year, and I don't think I've read more than like 2 or 3, if that even, you know? And then last on my physical TBR list we have Silver Elite, and this one I don't actually know when it's set, obviously because I haven't read it yet, but the fact that it's like dystopian makes me think again autumn vibes would be perfect for autumn, so that's what I've been saving it for. But I have heard honestly nothing but amazing things about this book, and the more I see about it the more intrigued I get. I don't know that much about it other than it kind of follows a girl in this training program. It's a dystopian kind of romance, and I think she has some like psychic gift or something. I don't know, but I'm excited for it, and I have a feeling that it's going to be a very fast-paced dystopian from what I've heard about this one. And then on my to buy list, so these are the books that I'm really hoping to pick up when they're released. The first one is The Favourites, and this one specifically in paperback is coming out I think September, October time, and I cannot wait for this book. Every time I see this book and I see people kind of comparing it to Magnolia Parks but slightly different, I'm just like, I need it in my life. I really do. I have a feeling about this book that I'm gonna absolutely love it, and it's gonna be like a 5-star read for me. And I was gonna get it in hardback when it first came out, but because the paperback is so close in timing, there's just something about this book that I think I'm gonna love, and I've heard people absolutely raving about it, and that it's just so fast-paced and gripping, and I'm very excited to read this. And then we have another new book release from Frida. Literally, where does she get the time from? Where does she get the time from, honestly? She has a new book coming out in October called The Intruder, and this one I'm hoping is gonna be kind of creepy thriller vibe, just purely based on the fact that it's being released in October, and obviously I'm gonna get it. Obviously it's a Freedom of Pardon. Obviously I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna read it, and I'm very intrigued by that one already, purely just by the cover and the title. And then another one that is actually kind of a recent addition addition to my to buy list. We have The Crimson Moth, also known as Heartless Hunter, which I keep seeing and I continue to be like, why is that not on my TBR already? Why is it not on my to buy list? Because this sounds right up my street. I think it's like a witch and a witch hunter kind of dynamic. I think would be perfect for October time. Let me know if I'm right in thinking that, but I have a feeling that it might be. And it's also a romantasy, which would be perfect for autumn. So I'm hoping to actually get this and read this autumn, which I feel like is kind of out of the blue because I have seen this book a lot and a lot of people raving about it, but I don't know why it was just never on my kind of to buy list. I don't know, but when I actually read the blurb for it, I was like, yeah, this sounds like a bit of me, actually. So I'm hoping to hopefully read that this autumn as well. That's all for my autumn TBR, both physical and my to buy list, that I'm hoping to read this autumn. We will see how we go. Obviously there'll be plenty of reading vlogs as well to go along with these books. I hope I've also given you some book recommendations that you can add to your autumn TBR as well. Let me know in the comments any autumny books that you think that I would love to read as well. I'd absolutely love to hear your recommendations. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in my next one.